for the Clever Blue Jays. Clever went 15-12 in their first season without fall baseball and only spring. Their losses came to Monette, Aurora, Stratford, Reed Spring, Hillcrest, Amber Piscotton, and Asher out of Oklahoma, Fairgrove, Hartville, Stockton, and Ava. Coach Snider, what was the ingredient that you had going into this 2019 spring season?
We knew we were going to be young at spots, but experienced. We started several freshmen last year, and so we knew that experience they gained as freshmen would help us out, pay off. We also had a very young pitching staff, which we knew coming into the season would be, we would go the direction of our pitching staff. And luckily for us, Jake Twig got some good innings as a freshman, and Zach Garcia got good innings as a freshman. Didn't always see the success that they wanted, but they got good quality innings against good teams, and it paid off, and they pitched really well for us throughout the season. And the young kids mixed with our seniors and junior just had a great team chemistry and culture among itself, and it was just a team that gelled really well together.
Team that did gel really well together. That was the Clever Blue Jays of the 2019 season. Now, another thing is, what would you say the definition of this 2019 season would be?
Persistence. We won, I think it was 17 or 18 games in 2018, but our schedule wasn't very good, and some of it was handicapped with some conference teams not being as good that last year in the SWCL as they usually are, and some of it was just our fault for not scheduling as higher up as we needed to challenge ourselves when we got to district time. So we revamped the schedule, and obviously switching to a different conference and walking into the Mid-Lakes, which probably the best year of baseball the Mid-Lakes has had top to bottom in a long time. So we walked into that, which instantly gave us more credibility on our schedule, and then the outside play of scheduling up and not being scared to schedule up. Definitely, the kids had to be persistent, and it challenged them a lot. We went through kind of some streaks in the season where we'd play really well, then we'd run into 3 or 4 guys throwing 85 to 92, and we wouldn't do so hot. Then we'd come back from that. So, the persistence amongst the kids, and not giving up, not quitting, but consistently, going out and giving their best effort to their ability every night, and it paid off in the end.
Giving out your best effort every night, and it did pay off in the end. And now we got to move to another topic that we have, and it's the wins. You guys had 15 wins on the season. What was the most important win of the season? What was the most important win that really took your season on, that really defined your season? What was the most important win?
I'm going to revert back really quick to a loss that I think defined something, and then move to the wins. When we played Aurora in the third game of the season, and we lost 8-5, but we had the tying run at the plate, and Trace Comer smokes the ball to left field. Their center fielder catches it on a diving play that probably would have put Trace at third, which would have been the tying run. I think when you're playing the number 1 team in the state, and you have early on that kind of game, and we threw Sean Gilmore, who was kind of flirting as our 3 or number 4 pitcher, and we were able to compete with them. That really gave the kids confidence going into the season. Midway through the season, I think a back-to-back week of beating Hollister and beating Mount Vernon really propelled the kids to realizing, we can do this, and playing at a really high level, because those are 2 very, very good Class 4 teams. And then obviously the big, big win came in the district championship game against Forsyth, where the kids never gave up. We came back and ended up walking it off and winning it in the 7th.
Staying in the same boat as the wins, it's the most exciting one, the one that was really enjoyable. What was the most exciting one that you guys had in this 2019 spring season?
Oh, no doubt. It was the district championship game. Being down 5-3, and Tanner Bradshaw hitting the home run in the 6th to tie it 5-5. Then going right back out in the 7th, and we gave up a run. to go down 7-6. And then Sean Gilmore and Trace Comer came up to bat and both popped up, and we're down to our last out with nobody on. Quinn Gundelfinger hitting the single up the middle, and then Peebles hitting the ball that we thought was going to be a walk-off home run that hit the middle of the fence to tie the game, and then Tanner Bradshaw comes back up and hits the walk-off double to win the game. So that was hands down probably the most exciting baseball game, maybe the last several years that we've played.
Can't put that on you can't take that off the resume, that district championship win against Forsyth. And now we got to move to the dark side of the wins, and those are the losses. So what would you think would be the most learning or educational loss you guys had in this 2019 spring season?
I'd probably say Reed Spring. They put it to us pretty good, which the score is very deceiving. We actually had a lead in that game going into the 5th inning and got run ruled in the 6th inning. And the kids at the time, we had won some good games. We had come off some games where we had, beat Hollister, and then we would play really well. And then we play Stratford and don't play really well. And then we turn right back around on that Thursday and play Reed Spring. And we played really good for 4.5 innings, and then things just fell apart, and the kids got rattled, and we got beat and run ruled in 6 innings, and we kind of went down the line and had to have a talk about our consistency issues. We were playing really good against teams we should beat. We were playing average against teams that were probably 50-50s, and then teams that might have been just a little bit better than us, we were just laying an egg. So we had to talk about consistency, and then the next week we play Mount Vernon and beat them. So, and we run ruled them. So I would say the Reed Spring game is the one that stands out probably the most as a turning point mentally for the kids.
Stay in that same boat as the losses, what was the most toughest or disappointing loss that your coaches or your players had to take throughout this 2019 season?
It had to be the Ava game in the state sectional. We had runners on base every inning, but I think one. We had a runner in scoring position 5 of the 7 innings. And then 3 of the 7 innings, we had a runner in scoring position with no outs, and we just couldn't get the big hit. We had the right guys up that we wanted. Our big RBI guys were up. We just could not get the breakthrough hit in the game. And there's not, going back and watching it, I don't think there's anything that I would do differently outside of possibly putting a surprise squeeze play on with Logan Peebles up. I think it was in the 4th inning with Sean Gilmore at third. Me and Sean had talked about it, but we just didn't pull the trigger on it. It would have been something that they wouldn't have expected. Logan is probably our best bunter. He's also, obviously our best bat at the plate, but it kind of catches people off guard. They don't realize that he can bunt. And their third baseman is playing back. If there was one thing I could change in that game, I would have done that to give us a 1-0 lead. And hopefully the momentum to carry it on. And then, you don't know where you go because there was, I think, 1 out or no outs at the time. And a lot of times on a squeeze play, a guy ends up being safe at home and safe at first. So you just don't know where things would have gone if I'd have done that. But that one, Jake Twig played great. Our defense was amazing the entire game. We just couldn't come up with the big hit to get guys in, and we had guys on the entire game.
Had guys on in the entire game, and also throughout the season, as we moved into the districts, there were a lot of teams, some good teams that were actually knocked out and didn't even make it out of districts. Like Aurora was knocked out of districts. We believe Stratford was knocked out of the district. So kind of tell me about what that said. Did that kind of motivate Clever to win their district?
I'm not sure that it would surprise me that some of the teams that you just mentioned got knocked off their district, both Hollister's district, that includes Hollister, Aurora, Reed Spring, Rogersville, Catholic. I mean, you've just got that district is a lot like the Stratford one, where you had Stratford, Fairgrove, New Covenant, Hartville, Ava. I mean, Ava was a 19-win team, and they were I think 5 seed in the district. So there's just really, really good Class 3 and 4 baseball in the area right now. And I know a lot of teams graduated a lot, this past year. And but it should be a lot of the same this year with some really, really good Class 3 and 4 schools in the area. And I would, argue to say, with the exception of Class 3 up in the Jeff City area, probably a majority of your top 10 teams in the state reside in Class 3 and 4 from Southwest Missouri.
It also goes to the same boat as those smaller classes, as well as Class 5. As we saw in Class 1, we believe Walnut Grove was knocked out of their district by Wablo, and then Billings was knocked out of their district by Crane, but Purdy did survive the district but was knocked out of the sectional round by Seymour. So do you think that those teams in Class 1 and 2 may have ran out of gas as well as in Class 5?
When you get to the state playoffs, everybody's there for a reason. It's usually that they get hot at the right time, or they've just got a really good team. I watched Purdy play, I think, 2 or 3 times this year, and Hughes does an amazing job with those kids down there. And I had not got to see Seymour play, but I heard nothing but just really, really good things about Seymour. And Coach Dewey down at Seymour used to be at Norwood. I knew him there, but I've not got to see him work a lot with the Seymour kids. But he did an amazing job at Norwood. It looks like he's doing an amazing job at Seymour too. So, I'm not sure it shocks me or surprises me. When you've got good teams going against each other, one team just does something better than the other, that day. So if you put them on the field 10 times, my guess is that Purdy and Seymour would probably split 5 and 5. You had Willard that made a great run in Class 5. I don't think that shocks anybody. But again, you also have Nixa and Kickapoo and Ozark and schools like that, and Glendale, that all had really, really good teams too. So, I don't know as much about Class 1. I know obviously Wablo had a really good season. I think we just added them to our schedule actually on a 2-for-1 Saturday late in the season next year. But, I don't know a lot about Class 1. But Class 2 and up, I think once you get to playoff time, everybody's good. Everybody's got one, big horse and arm. And it just comes down to, who executes better that day.
Season or schedules have already come out on the Misha website. And as we now look at the Misha website and look on the Clever page for Misha, you guys will open the season. We believe it's going to be at Monette and at New Bloomfield on March 21st of 2020. So what's going to be given to prepare, or what's it going to take to prepare the new Clever Blue Jays for next year when you guys first take on Monette, which we believe that will be at Monette on March the 21st of 2020. What's going to be different about next year's Clever team as opposed to this year's Clever team?
Well, we lose some really good seniors. We lose Logan Peebles behind the plate. We lose Trace Comer in center field. Nathan King at shortstop. All 3 of those guys are going to play college baseball somewhere. Logan at Mineral Area, Trace at Drury, and Nathan King is going to C of O. And then, we lost Hunter Utzler, Patrick Boyle as a role player. So there'll be big losses. We have guys that are ready to step in. Probably the most prepared person to step into one of those roles is Tanner Bradshaw, who will be the catcher next year, most likely. I argue that we probably have the best JV catcher in the state because Tanner would be a 4-year starter for me if it wasn't for Logan, already being a 4-year starter. Tanner's great behind the plate. So I think the hardest position we'll have to replace will probably be center field. To to our left center or left field and right field this year. We had converted infielders to playing outfield, and if I had to guess, I would say that Sean Gilmore will probably be in center field or Blaze Akins. We've got a couple other juniors that might, battle for that role. Dylan Thompson and Drew Hannafin will probably battle for that. And we've got a couple really good freshmen that are coming in that will also compete for a little bit of playing time. Third base and on the infield, Nolan Hall will probably take over at third base, him and Zach Garcia. And then we've got a great situation up the middle with Quinn Gundelfinger and Jake Twig, and then Cole Langley will probably be at first. But, it really comes down to who produces in practice and who works the hardest in the weight room in the off season. And if some guys slack off in the weight room or they don't do the off season stuff that's needed, then, they'll fall behind and they'll get replaced.
Fall behind and get replaced. And we noticed that you played 2 Oklahoma teams this spring, and that was Asher and Amber Piscotton. Kind of tell me about what they're classified as in the class assignments in Missouri. Like, what classes are they in?
Okay, so Amber Piscott has about 290 kids, I believe, and Asher only has like 150. So Amber, they both would be considered class 2s in the state of Missouri, but there's 7 classes in Oklahoma, I believe. So they do their stuff a lot differently. Now that being said, we went down there, and Asher was the school that had about 150 kids, and we saw a kid that was committed to Oklahoma State pitching, and he was throwing 90 to 92 miles an hour. So, things are a little bit different out in Oklahoma. They take baseball extremely seriously, and their kids religiously play and practice. And I thought we went down there and hit really well, but we just couldn't score enough runs. We couldn't stop them, and we had all of our pitching there and ready to go, and it just did not go well. All things considered, against the kid that was going to Oklahoma State, when we knocked him out in the 5th inning, we were only down, I think, 6-3, and I was proud that the kids had put up 3 runs, and we had, I think, 6 or 7 hits. The first 2 innings were pretty rough. I think he struck out all 6 guys, but we competed. It's just we did not play good enough defensively, and we couldn't put up enough runs, and we scored runs. So, but they were just a lot better hitters than what we were used to seeing down here. The Asher, Oklahoma team is probably the best team we played the entire year.
Best team you guys have played in that entire year. And as we look at the schedule, Asher and Amber Piscotton will play Clever this year. Are you guys going to be playing them at Clever, or are you guys going to be playing them at a neutral location?
No, I think we're going to go back to Oklahoma and play. So we'll go back there and play them. It was a really good trip. On our way out there, we stopped by the University of Oklahoma. The kids got to go onto the football field and look at the baseball field, and then on our way back, we watched Oklahoma State and Texas in Stillwater, which was a fun game to go watch. And me personally, and I know you too, Adam, are hoping that Oklahoma's in town so that we can drive back through and watch Oklahoma next year instead of having to go watch those Oklahoma State Cowboys that, and Texas, that kind of made me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. But being Oklahoma fans, I know we are. But it was a fun trip for the kids, and they had a blast. The worst part about it is we had some kids buy some Oklahoma State hats because they thought they looked cool, and I had to look at some Oklahoma State caps at practice sometimes. So that was the only downside of the whole thing.
Was only the downside that you guys had, as we're both Oklahoma fans. So that does kind of put on the dark side with us being OU fans and going to Stillwater to see Oklahoma State play Texas and in high school, or in college baseball rather. And now back to Missouri baseball, as we heard that Logan Peebles was actually onto the cover of the baseball preview this spring. So what does that say for Peebles? What makes him on the cover of the baseball preview from this spring?
Logan had a really good junior year. A lot of the cover of the baseball stuff has to do with who is an All-State player the year before, and Logan was a second-team All-State catcher as a junior. I felt like he deserved to be on the cover. He produced and did everything he needed to, to be one of those top guys in the area. And then his numbers this year were, they were better than what they were his junior year. So, I mean, he hit over 600 for most of the year this year. I think he ended at like 547 and had 4 or 5 home runs and in the mid-30s on RBIs, and just Logan did his job, at the plate and behind the plate, and he was rewarded for that with a bunch of honors preseason, and then several honors and being first team All-State and all Ozone team and multiple other teams as well postseason.
A lot of awards and accomplishments that Mr. Logan Peoples has had, and one player that we've also heard about is Trace Comer, who's now going to be signing to play at Drury. What made him decide to go play at Drury? And also Peoples, who also signed at Mineral Area, and you said one other player signed at C of O. So what makes those players decide why Mineral Area, Drury, or College of the Ozarks?
Trace, I think, was going to go ahead and go to Drury no matter what. He had some offers from some other places that he just didn't feel like fit his academic needs, and he wants to go into architecture, and Drury has a great architecture program, and he had done some off-season hitting drill stuff, camps and things with Drury last winter, and they liked Trace. They were concerned a little bit about his size because Trace is not a real big kid, but I think Trace went ahead and put that to bed a little bit this year with, I think he had 2 or 3 home runs and double-digit doubles and 3 or 4 triples, and Trace has a lot of pop for a little guy, and when he swings it. So, and tremendous speed in the outfield, probably the best center fielder I've had. I'd say it's kind of a push between him and Travis Pennywell, probably in center, as far as the amount of ground they can cover. And he's got a good arm, so he's not going to be a trouble kid on academics. He's not going to be a trouble kid outside the classroom, and that's the kind of guys that Drury's looking for. And he fit that mold, and Coach Nasby came to watch him play and at U.S. Ballpark when we played Skyline and liked what he saw, and he went ahead and offered him the spot, and Trace took it. Now, Nathan King's is kind of a unique situation where his tryout actually took place in June. And it was kind of a late workout. They were looking to add a couple extra players, and Nathan went down there and tried out and made the team. So, Nathan's going to not be at C of O first semester, but he's going to walk in second semester and be on the team. But I think he can still practice in the fall with them. So that worked out well for Nathan as well.
Did work out well for those players as they go to C of O, Mineral Area, and Drury. And as we wrap up for today, is there any final words you had to say for all the coaches that you played, all of the coaches that you played, and also the final coaches that you played from Ava? What would be your final words to all the coaches, including head coach Rex Sawyer from Ava? And as well as, before we let you go, as another question that we've got to mention is the Ozarks Sports Report Coach of the Year. As you were in the poll for the Ozarks Sports Report Coach of the Year, but we're now down to the final 2 contestants, which is Scott McGee from Willard and Jason Dewey from Seymour. So what makes you say, or what does that make you say for you being in the Coach of the Year, and as well as the other coaches that were in the Coach of the Year, including the coach from Purdy, Ava, Glendale, as well as Crane, as well as Seymour and Willard, who are the final 2 contestants?
I'll go back to your first question real quick. Looking forward to hooking it up with everybody again next year. Coach Sawyer does an awesome job down at Ava. He's been there forever, it seems like, and he just continuously churns out really good teams. So, and I know they were relatively young, so he's going to have some really good years coming up too. He's got a really good freshman, are going to be sophomore left-handed pitcher, and a couple other kids that throw really well for him that are also going to be sophomores next year. So I know he's excited about the years coming up. As far as being in the Coach of the Year voting, it's just an honor to be in anything like that. The 2 guys are your finalists, Coach Dewey and Coach McGee. I don't think you could find 2 guys that are more that work harder for the programs or more deserving than those 2. I just got done talking to Scott McGee last night for a little bit, and it's hard to argue he's not one of, if not the best coach in Southwest Missouri right now with the thing he's got rolling at Willard. He just does an amazing job with those kids, and you can't go wrong with those two guys, and you can't go wrong with anybody on those lists. I paid a little bit of attention to it, and I know our administrators retweeted it and stuff like that, but it's just an honor to be on, even considered in that same talk with those guys.
Welcome back to Clever High School, here with the head coach of the Clever BlueJays, Coach Justin Snider, after that huge 10-0 win against Buffalo today. Coach Snider, what was the ingredient that you were having in the soup today to get that 10-0 win against Buffalo?
We just try to have good at-bats. We knew we were going to see the number one pitcher and just put the ball and play hard. Doesn't matter what count it is, just make sure we put the ball and play hard and support Zach, who was on the mound. He did a great job on the mound, and support him with solid defense behind.
Zach Garcia threw 4 innings four shutout innings, only giving up 1 hit. What was going through his mind tonight to come up and deliver that big win today against Buffalo?
Really trying to command fastballs. We've had a little bit of trouble on Saturday getting ahead and commanding the fastball, so we were really working hard today on getting ahead and making sure the fastball is locating well, and that can lead to your other pitches. And Zach just did a really good job, as he did on Saturday too, in the inning or two that he threw there. Just getting first pitch strikes. That's so important in high school baseball, is getting first pitch strikes.
First pitch strikes is the big key. Now, to your offense that you guys had, your offense lit the spark early in today's game, scoring 1 run in the first inning, and then 5 runs in the first inning, 5 runs in the second inning. What was the strategy that you gave your offense in today's game?
Just, support Zach, have good at-bats. If you do get to 2 strikes, make sure you put the ball and play hard somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is, just make sure you put it and play hard somewhere. And they did a really good job. I was a little disappointed in the last 3 innings. We didn't score any. That's just kind of a lack of focus a little bit on our kids' part. But we'll talk about that. We'll get over it and we'll move on.
Forsyth or Hardville you're going to be taking on back here at Clever. What's going to be the firepower that you're going to be bringing to help bring a win against either Forsyth or Hartville?
It's 2 really good teams. They're going to put the ball in play. They're going to put it in play hard. So we'll have to continue to throw strikes and play solid defense behind our pitchers, and I hope we can outscore them. That's the one thing we've done pretty well. It doesn't matter what type of pitcher we've seen. We've seen anything from 70 to probably 83, 84 this year already, and we've done a good job against all of it, putting the ball and play hard. So we've put up some runs right now. Hopefully we can continue to do that.
If there are any final words you had to say to the head coach of the Buffalo Bison after that 10-0 loss, what would your final words be to their head coach of the Buffalo Bison?
They're really young. Jeff's a good friend of mine, and he told me they were going to be really young. So just make sure they, try to get better each day. That's all you can do when you're as young as they are in the lineup and have that many freshmen on the field. It's more about finding a way to finding little wins in situations like that, and just get better every day.
All right, thanks for taking the time with us, Coach Snider. Congratulations on that win against Buffalo.
Thank you.
Best luck to you guys against either Forsyth or Hartville.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And now we will move on to Zach Garcia, the man who who had no runs today and 1 hit. Zach Garcia, what was the main objective that you had going into this game against Buffalo?
The main objective I had today was just to throw strikes and let my defense work behind me, because I can trust them, and I have a great team.
A great team that you have today, and you're at 2-2. You're at the 500 mark for this year. What was Coach Snyder's words to you before you took the mound today?
He just told me to throw strikes and do what I do best and locate my fastball.
Definitely locate your fastball. And your defense backed you up, scoring 10 runs today to shut Buffalo out. What would be your words to your defense today?
My words to my defense, I'd thank them for doing what they could and being behind me and making the plays I needed to keep me with a good pitch count.
You're going to take on either Hartville or Forsyth. That's going on down in Forsyth. That's the Forsyth pool. What's going to be your words, or what's going to be Coach Snyder's words to help bring a win against either Hartville or Forsyth?
I think his words are going to be that we just need to throw strikes to command our fastball, sink a couple curveballs in there once in a while, and we need to swing the bats and just stress our defense.
Very final words you had to say to the head coach of the Buffalo Bison. What would your words be to the head coach of the Buffalo Bison after that 10-0 loss that they had to you guys?
I would say that their kids are young and that they need to work on knowing what's a strike and what's a ball, because there's some pitches I threw that were way up and that they swung at, but I could see potential in them.
All right, thanks for taking the time with us, Zach Garcia. Congratulations for that win today. Also, good job today on the mound. Best luck to you guys against either Forsyth or Hartville. Welcome back to Clever High School, here with the head coach of the Clever BlueJays, Coach Justin Snider, after that big 12-2 win that they had against Mount Vernon. Coach Snider, what was the ingredient that you had going in to this game against Mount Vernon?
We've been preaching the small things like bunting and moving guys over when you get guys in scoring position. Being able to move them in, and today we did all of those things and we did them very well. We started to do them better as the week went on last week. It's just, in a lot of our losses we were getting beat because of the little parts of baseball we weren't doing very well. So it's nice to see us come out today against a really good team and put it to them a little bit.
Really good team you guys did, and you guys preached it. You guys did the ultimatum. You guys beat Mount Vernon, very good Mount Vernon team, now 9-3. What was the scripture that you had? What went well during this game against Mount Vernon?
Starts on the mound. They're a team. I watched them play Catholic and put up, I think it was 9 or 10 runs against Catholic against the kid going to Vanderbilt. So, Zach Garcia threw a great game on the mound, and we played really good defense behind him. There's a couple times where we may have had an error or something like that, and last week it probably would have led to a spiraling downward, and the kids kept their focus, and Zach got right back up on the mound and did his job, and they played great defense behind him. And then offensively, again, when you get guys in scoring position, you've got to drive them in, and they did a good job of doing that today.
Zach Garcia, on his resume there on the bump, only allowed 2 runs to score. That was Will Boswell, who scored, and then
I'm not sure who the other guy was.
What was going through his mind? What was his game plan going up against Mount Vernon? What did you tell him before he took the mound against Mount Vernon?
You have to throw strikes. They're a very, very good hitting team, and for whatever reason they looked a little bit behind today. Zach doesn't throw overly hard, but he does locate well and locates multiple pitches well, and he just did a really, really good job. One inning they got to him, and it was the part of their order, and that's what they're supposed to do. So, we did a good job of not letting the game crawling back to 3-2, hold us to where we were at. And then we had a big answer inning right after that, and I think we put 5 on the board in the 4th, and it's a really good job.
You're going to be going on the road. You're going to be taking on, we believe,
Spokane.
You're going to take on Spokane, an SWCL rival, that is Spokane. What's going to be the firepower to go up against Spokane, a former conference member of you guys? What's going to be the scripture that's going to be taught against Spokane?
Same thing as usual. Pitchers got to throw strikes. The defense got to help the pitching, and then when guys are in scoring position, we've got to find ways to get them in. And to if we can do what we did today and continue to do that, good things are coming. And I had a parent on Saturday say that we were so close. He just feels like we're one good win away and one breakout day away, and hopefully that was today.
So your final words you got to say to head coach Nick Swillem of the Mount Vernon Mountaineers after that 12-2 loss that they had. What would be your words to Coach Swillem of the Mount Vernon Mountaineers?
He's been doing this a long time. He understands as well as I do when you're working with 15 to 18-year-old kids. Sometimes that happens. It happens at all levels, and it happens to everybody. So, they're a really good team. They'll bounce back from this, okay? They'll be fine.
Okay, thanks for taking that time with us, Coach Snider. Congratulations on that big win against Mount Vernon. And best luck to you guys against Spokane on the road.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, that was Coach Snider, and we will now see 3 players from the Clever BlueJays. It'll be Hunter Utzler, Zach Garcia, and Trace Comer joining us now after that big 12-2 win that they had against Mount Vernon. Guys, what was the main ingredient that you guys had going into this game against Mount Vernon?
We hopped on them early with the bats, and we had a great defense.
We needed to pick up our offense. Last game we've been struggling with our offense, so we picked it up and started hitting well.
Basically, just manufacturing runs is a big thing for us. Run support for our pitchers is huge, especially with the younger kids. They need the most help they can get. Just playing Zach. Did good night. This Mount Vernon team was a tough cookie that came into Clever. They were 9-2 coming into this game. Now they're 9-3 after this game. What was the what did you guys have going into this game? Kind of break it down. What happened in this game that you guys had to get those big runs against Mount Vernon?
I think we just played defense a lot better than we did, which helped us off early. And then with runners in scoring position, we hit them in, which we haven't been doing well this year.
Hit them in, executed whenever we needed to, got bunts down. It's a big deal, especially the coach. He loves bunts. So executing those early in the game helped us get more runners in scoring position than hit them in.
Our defense was great, and I did my job, and I trust my defense behind me.
Zach Garcia, you threw, 4 scoreless innings in today's game, only giving up 2 runs. That was in the 3rd inning against Mount Vernon. What was your words that you had to yourself before going onto the mound, and what was Coach Snider's words that he had before you took the mound against Mount Vernon?
I just told myself to take it one pitch at a time, not to focus on anything else. And Coach Snider just told me the same thing, just to focus and throw strikes.
Former conference member that you'll be taking on Tuesday, that's tomorrow. You're going to be taking on Spokane. What's going to be the initial ingredient? What's going to be the words that will be preached to get another win against Spokane?
Throw strikes, keep doing what we're doing, hit the ball, and play good defense.
Basically execute, do your job, and just one pitch, one batter at a time, and you'll, at the end of the game, hopefully you're winning.
Just keep executing like we've been doing, and when runners are in scoring position, keep hitting them in and getting runners on base, whether it's walks or bunts or hits.
Very final words you had to say to the coach of the Mount Vernon Mountaineers, head coach Nick Swillem, after that 12-2 loss that they had to you guys. What would be your final words to Coach Nick Swillem of the Mount Vernon Mountaineers?
He's got a good program. He's got good players. They just keep their heads up. It's not a bad loss.
They have a great program over there, a great team. Just keep playing one game at a time. We have a great program, so they should be fine.
They have a great team. They're doing really well, and just keep moving forward.
Okay, thanks for telling me those. Hunter Usler, Zach Garcia, and Trace Comer. Congratulations on that big win today. Also, good job defensively and offensively. Best luck to you guys against Spokane.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back to Aurora High School here with the head coach of the Clever BlueJays, Coach Justin Snider, after that big 13-0, let's say an SWCL reunion game against Crane. All right, so the big 13-0 SWCL reunion game against Crane. Coach Snider, can you tell me about what you guys had to manufacture 13 runs against those Crane Pirates?
I had to have good approaches at the plate. We talked about in practice today, or in our hitting session, about being aggressive on the fastballs over the plate, making sure we're getting hard contact, no easy outs, and hit the ball hard every time. 2-0 counts, taking good aggressive cuts, and kids did a really good job today, especially with 2 outs of manufacturing runs. I think 2 different innings. We had 2 outs, nobody on, and scored some runs. The even number innings were quiet for the Clever BlueJays, and one that really took away the 6th run of the game was that triple play, yeah.
The 5-2-3-2 triple play.
Yes.
Kind of tell me about the scouting. Kind of tell me about what you guys had.
Well,
in that game,
on that triple play, it's Tanner hit the ball hard to the third baseman, and he made a nice throw to home, and then he threw Tanner out at first. And I know what Logan was thinking, and I know it was going through his head. I saw it as soon as he rounded third. He should have just continued to run. He hesitated and stopped, and then he tripped over his own feet trying to get back going again. So it was it could have been a huge momentum change in the game at 5-0 there, but I was real proud of Jake, especially getting back on the mound after something like that, and the momentum could switch, and he did a really good job of going back out there and putting up another 0.
Logan Peebles, one of the men who was the RBI machine against Crane tonight, and also Jake Twigg was also the man who was able to put zeros up on the scoreboard. Kind of tell me about what both Peebles and Twigg had in this game against Crane.
We've been struggling, and it's not a secret. We've gone to the toughest part of our schedule, and we're seeing 85 to 90 miles an hour almost every game, and it was one of those things that the kids they've battled and worked hard. It's the toughest part of our schedule, and coming into today, we didn't think we'd see anybody that would be throwing 85 to 90, which was a relief, I'm sure, to some guys. Logan has had some, approach, things, and he's a great hitter. So we worked really hard on just the mental part on picking good pitches to swing at, and he did a great job today of picking, quality pitches to swing at, and waiting on a pitch that he could drive hard into a gap, and he did a great job. And Jake, we needed that on the mound. We've been searching, almost the entire year to find out who our one is and who's going to go out there and just, take the ball and put it to somebody. And Jake did an awesome job today of throwing strikes and mixing his pitches, and he looked like the number one pitcher on the mound today.
Also, we'll continue the road trip. One more game before the districts.
Two more.
Two more games.
We added one. Yep.
And you'll be going up to Cedar County to take on Stockton. And
Yes.
we don't know who your next opponent will be. If it's going to be a makeup game.
It's a makeup game with Morrisville on Wednesday at home.
With Morrisville on Wednesday at home. And kind of tell me about what you guys will be doing against Stockton to help keep the win streak going against Stockton.
Stockton's another team, I know we've talked about it before, but they're another team in the Mid-Lakes that's got a number one that throws in the mid-80s with a really good curveball, and it's been a little bit of an adjustment for us. We've talked about it before, about the difference between the arms race and the SWCL compared to the Mid-Lakes, and it is a big jump and a big difference. Everybody has somebody that throws very hard and very well, and the teams just, they hit better. So it's been an adjustment, and we've struggled a little bit with that adjustment, but we're getting better every game at it, and we're going to see another good arm on Tuesday at Stockton, and then I'm sure we'll see somebody good on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure that we're rolling at about 9 games in a row at seeing teams' number one pitchers, so it's it's just something we're used to, so it's fine, and in the words of Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
Oh yeah, and if you had final words to say to Coach Brian Harmon and his team of the Crane Pirates after that nail-biting 13-0 loss, that tough 13-0 loss to you guys, what would be your words to Coach Brian Harmon after that 13-0 loss?
Just stick with it. Districts is coming around, so it's a whole new season in about a week for everybody, and keep playing hard and keep working hard.
Appreciate the time, Coach Snider. Congratulations on that win.
Appreciate it.
Go get Stockton and Morrisville, and good luck in your districts.
Thank you.
Coach Justin Snider, we'll see two clever players of Jake Twig and Logan Peebles to the stage, and now joined by two Clever Blue Jays in Jake Twig and Logan Peebles after that big 13-0 win against Crane. Guys, tell me about what you guys had going in mind against Crane tonight.
Just confidence. You had to have confidence.
Just attack the fastball early. We knew about us, the curveball. I think we said of President's Day that we could sit on the fastball or even adjust to the curveball in his throw.
The odd number innings were the factors that you scored 5, 4, and 3 innings, or 5, 4, and 3 runs in the first, third, and fifth innings. Kind of tell me about what you guys had to manufacture those runs and to get those 13 runs against Crane, or rather 5, 4, and 4.
I think it's just a part of the lineup coming up. Get everyone in the lineup can hit, just everyone that gets hot at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think people are seeing the ball well right now, especially in that game.
Especially seeing the ball that well in it. And we've seen some web gems tonight on the defensive side. Crane turning the 5-2-3-2 triple play. Kind of tell me about what you guys had on the field to kind of avoid that 5-2-3-2 triple play in the second inning.
I thought that I had picked up the edge on the guy, and I thought that I had been able to get to home before he was paying attention. Thought I had him caught sleeping.
Mm-hmm. And I think just better base running. You just gotta have better base running in that situation.
Jake Twid, you only gave up 1 hit, but so far you put up zeros on the scoreboard. Kind of tell me about what you had on the mound against Crane here at Aurora.
Just locating for the most part. Location was key, and then working the curveball when it was necessary and trusting Logan.
Trusting Logan it was, and Logan, you were the battery mate for Jake Twig, and kind of tell me about what you had behind the dish and also at the plate today as you were the RBI machine against Crane.
We had a really good zone today, and Jake was able to hit spots. Curveball was on. It really just all worked together in sync. And then at the plate, I'd been struggling lately, and so I just got back to the original self, not trying to do too much.
2 more games left until the district. You're going to be taking on Stockton up north in Cedar County, and then you're going to be back home at Clever to see
we believe that it's Morrisville, which is a makeup game. Kind of tell me about what it's going to be to help get wins number 14 and 15 to send you guys off to the district.
Pitching's key. If we can hit like we did this game and keep pitching like we did, we don't need everything, but just have a little bit of everything and it'll help. We don't have to have it all.
We got to throw strikes for the most part. Location's got to be there.
If there anything you had to say to Coach Brian Harmon of the Crane Pirates after that 13-0 tough loss that they had to you guys, what would be your words to Coach Brian Harmon and his team of the Crane Pirates?
Just keep after it. They hit some of the balls hard. That's all you can ask for. Just nothing dropped today for them. It'll come around.
Same thing Logan said. They hit balls hard, just they were caught.
Appreciate the time with you guys. Congratulations on that big win. Go get Morrisville and Stockton. And best luck to you guys in the district and against Stockton and Morrisville.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That will wrap up our show for today. We hope you enjoyed our show. We hope you enjoyed us sitting down with the head coach of the Clever Blue Jays, Coach Justin Snider. If you'd like to stay connected with the Clever Blue Jays through their social media, be sure to like them on Facebook. Also follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter is at @Clever_baseball. Once again, that's at @Clever_baseball on Twitter. Also check out their website. Their website is at cleverschools.net. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's cleverschools.net. If you'd like to stay connected with Ozarks Sports Report through our social media, be sure to like us on Facebook. Also follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website. Our website is ozarksportsreport.wixsite.com/ozarksportsreport. On final time, we want to thank head coach Justin Snider of the Clever Blue Jays for sitting down with us for the season recap. And we also congratulate him on a tremendous season and being a finalist for the Ozarks Sports Report Coach of the Year.